So tell us how your company, if you have a company called Military to Money.
Yes.
Like, how did that birth? Like, what was your thought there? Because
So like I told you earlier, that's kind of my passion project right now. And what I really want to do is get a lot of military members and veterans financially literate. I feel like there's a lot of guys that go out, they get the first paycheck. The running joke is they go buy a Dodge Challenger or something like that. And I just want them to start thinking about like asset building and personal finance management and tracking where money's going, how it's going, utilizing like credit card leverage and without paying interest, stuff like that. And some tips and tricks.
I think anybody young starting to get paid, right, really could utilize some schooling or some tips on what to do with their money, right?
Absolutely.
And I think military, they're so focused on their job, probably hyper focused, more focused than your average, 22-year-old, 21-year-old.
Absolutely.
And because they have to be, it's like life or death. So, their money is probably like a second thought, like something that's not even that important. It's just like, sustenance and eating and, you already have your home, your what do you call it? Your housing.
Yeah. You have housing. Yep. Food, medical, all that stuff. So,
right. And so they can probably go blow some of their money because they think, well, I already got my food and my housing taken care of, but I don't have my future necessarily after.
And that's actually a great point because in the military, things are pretty comfortable in terms of your financial situation, but people forget that they're not always going to be in the military, whether they do 4 years or 20 years.
Right.
And I think when that comes time to transition, they have trouble realizing that, oh man, like I've been living this way my entire life and now I have to make a switch. How do I do that?
Is it kind of a shock when you come out of the military and you go into civilian life? Is it because it's almost like, a lot of a lot of military do it much later in life. When you go from living at home with your parents to military, it's you're getting taken care of in a similar way, right? But so you delay that shock that some teenagers, 18-year-olds might, when they get booted out of the house, if they do, then they got to start dealing with their own food, their own, insurance bill, their phone bill, like their housing, their food. It comes a little bit later, right? 4 years later, maybe 10 years later.
No, I agree to that. And I'll kind of disagree with that. In the military, because you are given all that, you become very self-reliant as well. So immediately you have an 18-year-old, didn't go to college, but they're paying their own cell phone bill. They're paying their own car payment.
Right.
They might fly back and visit mom and dad or whatever, but they're on their own now.
Right.
And they're part of the Navy or military family, whatever it is. Whereas I feel like in more of today's youth, you're going to school, but your parents are still helping you with tuition. They're still helping pick up the phone bill.
So it's like kind of like college in a way.
Exactly. So the military, exactly that. It's like a quick version of college. They teach you what you need to know to do your job, but then they still shove you out on the world, and you're still there.
It's
and you
way
still
more
got a boss yelling at you in your face, and ultimately you got to get the job done. And in a lot of cases, your life depends on it. So
right. I have ultimate respect for that. I mean, I did not serve, so I don't know what it's like, but I have friends that have, and I know it's intense. But talk to me about like coming out of the military. Is there other programs where you, like, I know with Military to Money, is it helping people in the military mostly, or when they get out, or both?
So I wanted to do both with that, and mostly geared towards the younger generation to start thinking beyond just investing in a 401k TSP plan that the government offers. And yes, there are quite a few programs. Again, they're government sponsored programs. They're very dull. There's nothing sexy about them. There's nothing interesting. It's death by PowerPoint. They make you go to a transition program, which is the same thing. It's just, okay, here's a week of classes at the very end to teach you basically how to write a resume. And I'm like, my version of getting a job isn't going on Indeed and submitting like a resume to 80 different places. It's researching where you want to work. What do you want to do with your life? Go there, find out how you can add value to that company. Then you won't need to be, the piece of hay in the haystack. Like you're already distinguished and already have your foot in the door. And that's who I personally would want to hire. So somebody who's passionate about what we're doing and wants to be a part of the team. So